So I talked to Godwinson. I streamed with him the other day. I don't know, a day or two ago, whatever. And it was kind of disappointing, to tell you the truth. He's clever, he's smart. You can tell that he's got like a lot of IQ points. But he's not really interesting. The fact of the matter is he's kind of boring. Huh? He doesn't know how to make like connections across more than one topic. I don't know. I can't explain it, but he's boring. I found him boring. I was disappointed. I mean, I extended the conversation longer than I intended to because I just wanted to be sure. But yeah, he's just not very interesting. He kept grinding on and on about these trivial people, the Sargon and all these fucking, I mean, at first I was kind of like thinking that maybe he'd be like something more worthwhile, because at first he kept pressing me to explain what I'd meant by him being better, that I expected him to be better. And so I thought, well, at first I sort of like dodged it because I didn't want to be rude because it was public, and, I've been taught, I was raised, I've been socialized into, being polite to people when I'm speaking to them, right? Even if I don't like them at all, I'm going to be polite to them because that's the way I was raised. And I realized that he and I were probably raised in very similar environments and probably come from very similar or analogous backgrounds, okay? Like upper class, with the family tree shit, and the retard cousins who are amounted to nothing but get a great deal of satisfaction from having descended from famous people, right? Yeah, I got a sense that he comes from that background, that upper class background. Yeah. And I thought I'd have more in common with him. Frankly, I thought he'd be more interesting, but he was boring. He was just kind of dull, and at first he kept pressing me about what I meant by him being better, and then finally I kind of answered him. And I didn't expand. I mean, it wasn't just being better online. It was being better in general, I was just very disappointed. It was very deflating. I mean, I was really looking forward to talking to the guy. But, I found myself after, I don't know, like, I think about by the 40-minute mark, I found myself struggling insofar as the conversation. I found myself trying to manufacture things to talk about. But I just wanted to get a better sense of him. That's why I kept on. I mean, frankly, I wanted to end the conversation after about half an hour, 40 minutes, because I got a sense of the guy, and I was kind of shocked. But, I kept on, just to make sure. And we talked for 90 minutes, I think, something like that, or maybe a little bit more than that. He was boring. And perhaps he himself realizes this. Perhaps he himself realizes that he is boring, and therefore that's why he's elusive, so that people don't realize that he's fundamentally a boring person. I don't know, it was just very disappointing. See, like, he says that, he doesn't want to be the British version of Jim. But see, I remember the first time I talked to Jim, okay? We talked for, like, almost 5 hours. It was just a delightful conversation, He's an interesting guy. I mean, like Godwinson, he uses humor to mask his fear. But unlike Godwinson, Jim is actually an interesting guy. His mind roves. His mind can put the blocks together of stuff going on in the world. He comes to interesting conclusions, interesting observations. Godwinson doesn't. He's sort of like Manigal. He's kind of autistic, which is kind of amusing if you think about it. Kind of ironic. Yeah, he's autistic. He's autistic about his little predilections, his lolcows and what have you. I'm starting to think that he might obsess about the lolcows because he's afraid that he might be or become one. I don't know. Or he obsesses about them because I think that he realizes that he's kissing cousins with them. Yeah. I think it's something like that. See, like, how can I put it? Like, middle-class people, they're always, like, all in a huff about not acting like lower-class people. And they make fun of lower-class people and despise lower-class people and relentlessly mock lower-class people because they're afraid they might be lower-class or that they might sink to the lower class's level. See? But an aristocrat doesn't care about the lower class. He's not threatened by them. He doesn't mock them. He treats them with compassion, noblesse oblige and all that, because he knows that he's never going to fall into that level, right? I think that Godwinson mocks lolcows because he's afraid that he'll become one, that he could easily become one, because he's boring. He's not interesting, It was grossly disappointing. It really was. I wanted to find him cool and interesting, and see somebody with a different point of view, an interesting point of view. But, he wants me, at the end of it, he absurdly, put up this competition to do Kino about Brittany Venti. I already did a video about Brittany Venti. I'm not going to do another one because she's not worthy of my attention. There are other things that are more interesting. Oh, but Godwinson, no. For him, that's like a big deal. That's kind of autistic to me. Anyway. I don't mind him. He's got an easy presence. He's one of those guys who's never going to be anything, And there are lots of them. There are those guys who are just like smart and facile and, good conversation, but they don't amount to anything in life. They never accomplish anything, because they're kind of cowardly, They don't have much balls to go out into the world and like rough it up, right? And see, I wouldn't have minded if that were the case with Godwinson, but he's just boring to boot, so I don't see much of a point in talking to him or having any interaction with him. I mean, I'm not going to turn up my nose on him the next time I see him or come across him online. No, but he's so dull. Oh, it's a pity, I was hoping to meet somebody fun, Well, not to be.